Susie's a sound image class, fall 2011. The Impersonator.
Officer Lewis? Anyone home in there?
Oh, sorry.
As I was saying, the mob's been doing this for years now. They send him in and it's like no big thing. You know we don't even have a name for him at the station yet. We just call him the Impersonator. If you ask me, that makes him sound too slick.
Well, it sounds fitting.
It sounds interesting. He's not.
Are you saying this case doesn't interest you, Detective Maxwell?
No, it doesn't. You'll go far in life if you take the fantasy appeal out of this job, Lewis. You're a good cop. Don't make that mistake. We're not talking about a comic book villain. It's not about being interested. More like, terrified. This man terrifies me, Officer Lewis.
I apologize if I came off as anything less than serious, Detective. If you don't mind me asking, I've been wondering this since they put me on the case with you. How did we ever find this guy? I mean, if our suspect is so adept at impersonation, how is it that we even know he exists?
How do we know? Do they teach you toddlers anything over a county? You never heard of Benjamin Falco?
Falco?
Christ. Benny Falco. A top undercover mafia man. In deep, and I mean deep. They got him into Marconi's crew and he made his way up. He was very good. He stayed quiet but gave us a ton of new intel. Only, one day he starts sending us weird messages. Says he quits and he's getting out while he still can. He sets up a meeting with a friend of mine over at 14th Precinct. They sit down to lunch. This is the first time, mind you, that anyone has seen Falco in around 2 years. So he sits my friend down, and they eat, and he says the mob knows that his life's in danger. Falco tells my friend he's leaving New York. Doesn't tell us where he's going, and then just like that, he gets up and walks out.
Why are you telling me this?
Because 2 hours later, my friend gets the call that Falco's been found dead, stuffed up a sewage pipe.
They got to him before he could leave New York?
Falco's body had been there for 4 days. Bloodied and broken in just about every place you can be, except the face. My God, if that hadn't looked more pristine than any I'd ever seen. We discovered a silicone residue on his face. Someone had made a cast of it. His wallet, ID, badge, everything was taken except that face. My friend had met with Falco's killer, and he didn't even realize it. If he'd have had his way, we'd never even know Falco was killed. You see, our man thought he was so good, so goddamn slick, that he could just fool us into thinking Falco had just run away. Falco was dead in a goddamn sewage pipe, and at the same time, he was having lunch at the Cicero Diner.
He took a cast of your man's face?
And wore it like a mask. This guy wears a perfect mold of the face. He imitates their accent, their facial movements. Christ, he probably wears specialized shoes just to get the proper height. He's the man you never see coming, because he's wearing your friend's face.
What's the point of it? Why doesn't he just kill them and leave it at that?
You tell me, Officer Lewis. You've been reading up on the case. Why the impersonations? Hey, what's in that suitcase anyway? A cop with a suitcase.
I keep all the information on our boy in here.
Another drink for you, sir?
Please. How about a glass of champagne?
Right away. And you, sir?
Apparently there's a sense of occasion tonight. Though, I can't say I'm sure what for. I'll take champagne too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you don't mind me asking, Detective, what's the occasion?
Soon enough, Lewis. Now, you're gonna show me that you've been keeping up on your reading?
Right, well, he's using them like puppets. The mob sends him in after people with face value. After someone they can use.
Precisely. Think about the access you get. Think about how useful the face of an enemy can be. You can make a man do anything if you're wearing the right mask. Think about how useful Falco's face would have been if we hadn't found him. A cop's face. My God, can a man like that do with a cop's face? Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night, gentlemen.
So, how do we catch him?
You just gotta outsmart your enemy. This guy's good, sure, but I'm better. I have a plan. You leak to the mob that a man leading the investigation into the impersonator can be found, say, at Abigail's restaurant at, say, 9 o'clock.
You're talking about here. About now?
If we're lucky.
And how do you suppose you go about catching a man like that? Jesus Christ, he could be a waiter.
Perhaps. I doubt it. If you're smart, you look for a big bag. Certainly whatever he's using to cast faces requires something bulky.
Well, what if he's smarter than that? What if it's not in plain sight?
Don't lose it now, Officer Lewis. Tonight's the night you get to be a hero.
Hero? Christ, this can't be happening. That's the occasion?
Drink up. I want you to help me make the arrest.
Me? The arrest? No backup?
You don't want him spotting the cavalry.
You've lost your mind. I mean, how can you really be so sure of anything? Maybe all the casting stuff could fit in a suitcase. And if he's so smart, wouldn't he know better than to come somewhere looking for you?
My face is very valuable. Think about it. You could end the whole goddamn goose chase, couldn't you? Just take my face and make it say, "Show's over."
You're insane.
I'm gonna catch my man. I'm gonna do it tonight, with or without your help.
I want to help.
All right. Then help.
I think we should just go over a few questions first.
Such as?
Well, first, is he armed?
I assume so.
With what?
How the hell should I know?
Oh, let's say then that he's packing a standard issue Glock 9mm.
Okay. What else?
I'm guessing he's picked somebody you wouldn't give a second glance to. Does that sound right?
That would be a style.
So, we're talking about a man who could walk right by, concealing a gun, and let's see, his face would probably be calming, a face you could trust. 'Cause that'd be the end of it, wouldn't it? He'd have a face you couldn't suspect.
Where the hell are you going with this, Lewis? And what's so damn interesting in that suitcase?
I'm just trying to figure it out, Detective. If this guy can be anybody, how do you know who's who?
A man knows his partner.
Yes. Well, you see, that's interesting. It's funny that Mr. Lewis should say the same thing when I met with him this morning. But I suppose you're right. One could very easily identify the impersonator from the contents of his suitcase, which is, I'm sure, what they will do with you.
You son of a bitch!
Now, Detective, let's not make a scene. This has been a very intriguing conversation, Detective, but I'm afraid your investigation is now over. Your face is very valuable indeed, but more so, I believe, when it's still yours. Oh, and I spotted the cavalry. They're a bit late, actually. I told them 9 at Abigail's. I mean, really, this is their chance to be the heroes.
They're not gonna believe it. You're not leaving this restaurant.
You know, someone once told me you can make a man do anything if you're wearing the right mask.
You're not leaving here alive.
Good night, Detective.
5 charges en route to 496 Broadway. Do you have another assignment there, Central?
Are you alright, Officer Lewis?
I'll be fine. Have someone come collect the detective's body. You know, I think I need to get out of New York for a little while.
You've just listened to The Impersonator, starring Doug Shapiro as Detective Maxwell, Jared Allen as Officer Lewis, and Bridget Graney as the waitress. Written and directed by Jacob Bittens, produced by Bridget Graney, sound engineers Noah Engel and Glenn Geiger-Cole.